Hi guys, back here with a little bit of a different video. If you remember recently, I put out a video where I was cleaning up some figures to have them graded. So this is the result. Some of them got a couple more. So where to start? All right, let's start from the beginning. So uh, I went to Toy Man Show last year, or a few months ago actually, right before Corona hit. I met a guy who had started a new grading company. The grading company is called APG. Look him up on Facebook. Um, Guy had some of his work on display. Thought it looked really freaking good. Um, so I went home, did some homework. I honestly couldn't find a lot of information, but I perused his Facebook page, and he seemed like he did really, really good work whenever I looked at the Facebook page. Um, and he was local. So um, excuse me. It's late and I'm having trouble talking. So, um, I after the Toy Man show, I contacted him and then asked him about pricing. $50 figure for the turtles. So, Corona happened. Didn't get any figures graded. Waited a while. Finally had to take a vacation at work because yeah, I had to take a vacation. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone. I'm gonna go get my figures graded, pick up some DTOF cases at St. Louis, and then head on to my vacation. Um, DTOF cases didn't happen, so I don't know where I'm gonna put these things. Um, so anyway, so um, the gentleman that runs this place, and I don't want to say names. I'll just say his company name, just because I don't know rules. You know, I don't want to step on any toes or anything. Um, so dropped off the figures. I actually dropped off 6 turtle figures, um, and a box of Star Wars for a local comic shop, to get them graded. Um, so originally, when I talked to him, I told him that I was going to have 4 Ninja Turtle figures to grade. Originally, my plan was to do 4 10 backs. Then I changed my plans. I decided I was going to do 4 turtle figures, and 2 of them were going to be this style of case, this style of packaging anyway. Um, so I had those all ready to go, and then the last minute I decided I'm going to get 6 figures graded. So I contacted him last minute and said, "Hey, can you get 6 done in the time frame that we had discussed?" And he said, "Yes." Awesome. So drop off the figures. Wait, I'm not going to say time frame just because your miles may vary, kind of situation, depending on how busy the guy is. So I won't say time frame just because, yeah, he may not have the same amount of time that he had for me versus somebody else. But the main reason why I wanted to do things the way I did was because of shipping. I knew I was going to be near where his place was one day, and at a future date, I was going to be back there to pick him up. So that's why this worked out for me. Uh, so I, like I said, he kind of had to do a rush job on it. So um, I basically just dropped off more work than what I originally had planned, uh, which we'll get into that here in a sec. But one of the reasons why I went with this with him was because of his case designs. Just an example here. Here's kind of the style of an AFA case. It looks like this piece is molded, so you can see. Try not to damage any of this stuff, but see how it's rounded right here. I'm not seeing any cuts. So my guess is they have one solid piece of acrylic that wraps around the entire case, and it's probably one flat sheet, and then they heat it up and mold it around a form, is my guess, to get that bend, versus APG's case, which is a solid square. And that just depends on aesthetics, what you like better. You know, me personally, um, I guess it really doesn't matter that much to me. It's the internal case design that I was liking. So if you look on this case, so let me grab this shredder here, and we'll go over the grades and all that stuff and what they are here in a sec. I want you to see the case. So you have one long rail that runs all the way up the side, and how it's attached, it's not attached on the back piece. It's attached on this side piece. So I'm guessing that he glues the side rail down the side, same way on this side. And he also does one, if you see, there's a big long tag that hangs right down the center. That's what sold me on these cases. I didn't really care to have my figures graded. I don't care about the grade. I wanted to preserve something I really care about, and that's why I did this. I knew these figures, I was never going to open them. I have loose ones. To me, these are, just something I really care about. So the fact that that card comes all the way down and protects that card. Now, originally, what I thought they did was, when I was looking at the website, I thought they came down and touched along this top card here, but they don't. They stop right before the actual card starts. I'm not sure why. It holds that card in there a lot better, so like if you have an unpunched card, that punch could still fall out inside the case. Granted, it depends on how well your punch is actually in there. But it looks to me like it just holds that back piece down. I don't know the company. I don't know the specifics, I guess, why they do that. But it sounds, when he told me about it, it sounds like it's mainly to hold that card down. But originally, like I said, I thought it was made to keep the blister from falling at the top. I don't know. So if you guys decide to go with him, maybe you want to ask him, I'll ask him next time I'm there. But I think it looks better. It looks like it would hold the card on better and keep it flatter. Now I will show you some variations in these cases, and I know reasons for some of it. So, but we'll get into all that stuff. So, it looks like that piece right here is actually glued onto this top piece. So, I'm assuming that he glues this in place first and then puts everything together. So I imagine he puts the side rails and this on first and then glues everything together, is what I would guess. Whether that's his process or not, I'm just taking my guess. But that was the reason why I went for it. And if you look on these cases, so like I said, this isn't an actual AFA graded case, but it's close. It's an actual AFA case, but it's not sealed because it has a sliding bottom on it. But if you look up here, so now this one's not made for a specific figure, but I can actually slide that around. I can actually slide this whole figure in here around. So I wasn't sure if that was how the AFA cases were going to be. If you look up here, that top rail is only touching just a fraction of that card. Now it touches more on the sides if you shift it over. So the other thing that I liked about them was, if you see, this case comes all the way to the side of the card back. So it's a little bit smaller in frame. So if I put this behind here, you can see, let me slide this over so you can kind of see this. So you see how much excess is there, and up top you can kind of see how much excess is there. Now, depending on which figures I have, that means I can get 3 figures straight across on a bookshelf pretty easy. On some of them, it depends on how wide the actual card is, because if you know Ninja Turtles, all the card backs and everything vary in size. And we'll get into that a little bit here in just a second, but I don't have too much time because apparently I'm running out of memory on my phone. So anyway, so I just like the case design on these, but the main reason I went with them was because it was local. I didn't like the idea of taking my stuff and shipping it to somebody, which that's 90% how I would assume that how this guy gets submissions. That's just the reason why I went with it, was because I was terrified to ship some of my favorite figures to somebody I didn't know. I will say I met the guy. one of the nicest people you've ever met. Um, I wish that I had a little bit more time to have sat there and talked to him, because it was just really interesting to just to talk to him for a bit. But every time I called, he answered, and if not, he called back. So, like, I'm dealing with the Zolo World right now. Um, they had me ship defective cases back to him almost 6 months ago. Now, I called him probably a month or two ago. It's actually been 2 or 3 months ago. I asked, hey, what's going on? Where's my replacement cases? They said, oh, well, we'll get them shipped out to you soon. 3 months, 3 months later, I call. No one answers. I left a voicemail. No one called back. Shot the guy a text. No answer. Shot him an email. No answer. Shot him a Facebook message. No answer. So Zola World, I'm pissed at Zola World, because they say they're gonna send you a new replacement for a defective product, and they didn't do it. And I don't know, they may be out of business by now. Who knows with the Corona shit, and the fact that I had a massive amount of defective cases. So, as far as customer service goes, this guy was awesome. Like I said, he answered emails, phone, texts. He did an awesome job. He is the new guy on the block as far as grading. Like I said, I didn't care about the grade. I really just wanted these figures protected. I don't really want to sell them. I have no intention of it. But down the road, if they go to sell them, they have a grade. Whether you believe in CAS or AFA or APG, whatever the case, I feel like each company is going to have variations as far as grades. So that's a good starting point, I think. If you see a 85 or a 70 on a figure, it's probably an 85 or 70. You're pretty dang close. And like I said, there's always going to be variations. Everyone's going to look at everything. There's always personal bias. Everyone's going to look at. So as far as grading, it's hard to be accurate. I would say, comparing one thing to another. But as far as what he did, I'm very happy with the grades I got. I mean, I would have loved to have had higher grades on some of these, obviously. Anyway, let's get to this here. So, up first, let's start with Bebop. So, this is a pop-up mutant display. He got an 80, and I know you won't be able to see it, but he got a cards 80, blisters 85, and figures 85. Now, I don't know. When I put this in a Zola World case, their first series of cases, it wasn't made. They weren't made for these bigger figures. They were made for the turtles. I put one of this in here because it said it was made for it. I put it in the Zola World case. A few months later, came back, and it had crushed the Bebop case. I pulled this guy out of a case fresh, so I knew it was perfect when I put it in that Zola World case. It also destroyed one of my splinters, or was it in April? Another figure got basically flattened too, because the Zola World cases, their first series sucked. For certain size figures, anyway. There was some that were perfect, and I love them, but yeah. Anyway, Zola World. What are you gonna do? So that is the Bebop. He is unpunched. He doesn't seem like he really moves around much. He moves, just a fraction. But he is protected. These things feel solid too. As far as UV protection, I don't know about these. That was one of the questions I was going to ask, and I forgot to. So he scored an 80. Okay, so let's look at Sandstorm here. So Sandstorm, you can see where it says Sandstorm. If you look in there, you can see there's two different colors on that Sandstorm. So it's got some yellowing going on. The bubble has some dings and dents and different things. But he scored a 70, which with the Sandstorm, with any of these figures, they're all rare that I got. 70 still, to me, a really freaking good grade on something. One, it's old. Two, where I got these things from. I'm surprised I was able to get that high of a score. But three, they they're old figures. I mean, what are you gonna do? They weren't in any kind of protective casing before I got them, so you know, he does have a bend up here in the corner, but he scored a 70. He scored 70 on the card, 70 on the bubble, 85 on the figure. Now, this one doesn't have the center rail going down the center. Like I said, I dropped 2 extra off on this guy, so he didn't have the middle card. But I'm fine with that. It's still got one of the smaller rails up here to hold it in place. So yeah. Now, one of the reasons, all of these cases he makes himself, so they're all different sizes. So if you look, different thicknesses, and some of them, let me see if you can see on this side here. So see how this one sticks out. So all these Ninja Turtles are different sizes, and he kind of made the cases, I'm guessing, as he went, because to double check, you know, on the sizes and everything. And over here we got Half Court. He was a 70. He was a 70 card, 70 bubble, 85 figure. This one, I thought, it's got a wrinkle going across here, but I thought this one was a little bit better shape than Sandstorm, but I guess when you start counting down the different ticks and everything. But this one does have the side rails and the top rail and all that stuff on it. But this one, if you look, so this top piece, and I'm assuming it's because all these cases are different, and he probably has these pre-cut, I would imagine. So when you get a case in that's different, you kind of got to go with the punches, I guess, on it. So if you look at this one, this side rail goes all the way down, and it runs a seam, or the card rail at the top runs, yeah, all the way across. And then you got your side rails. Whereas if you look at Bebop, this card, there's a gap. I don't know if you can really see that, but this card, the thing that holds the back on, has a gap in between over here. And the card rail, you can see there's difference. This one goes all the way to the top to the bottom. This one goes up to the card rail and all the way down. So there is a little bit of variation in case, and I'm assuming that's because he has some of this stuff pre-cut, and when you get a figure in that doesn't meet the same size standards. But me personally, if I can get them all like this, I would. I'm trying to see. That comes right up. I don't know if you can see it right in here, but that comes right up to the bubbles. So that's actually holding that card back on there, which I personally, if I had my choice, I would rather it come all the way and cover at least some of that seam for the bubble so it doesn't peel forward. All right. Have I talked about Shredder yet? I know I showed him a second ago, but this is the highest grade I got. He is also a pop-up display 10-back like Bebop. So he's very hard to find. He's one of the rarer ones. He scored an 85. This one was 85 on everything. So he scored an 85 near mint plus, and I don't know what all these grades mean. Like this one's and one thing with the pop-up displays, these are actually 89s. These aren't 88s. They came out a year later, I'm assuming. Trying to get kids to buy more of them by including a pop-up display. What were those? Those were EX Plus, so I'm guessing Excellent Plus. And Half Court's an EX Plus, and they were both figures from 93. All right, I got 2 more here. So I've got a Metalhead, and he didn't put any side rails on this one. He said that he was worried about the card being more damaged by putting the side rails on, because you can see it's kind of bowing up here. I may have preferred the rail and just taking the chance on it, but he's the expert, So, whatever he says, I'm going to go with because that's his job. So, the only real the support that's on here is this main one right here. But because the case is so fit on these, it's not going to slide. And it's not moving like any direction I shake it. It's not moving. So, it is in there and it's preserved. So, that's what I cared about. This one is the Warrior Metalhead Michelangelo. He came out with the Winged Warrior series. Very, very hard to find. This thing was in bad shape when I found it. I did have to clean the card up quite a bit. But it's not a great card. You can see wrinkles across here. But this one got a 70. I really didn't expect it to even score that high, to be honest. Though, I don't know if it would have been worth it if it hadn't gotten a 70 to be graded as financially. But for preservation, for what I wanted to do it because I love this. I want to protect my figures. Some of them, like my Anthrax, I don't care what kind of grade it gets. I'm going to get it graded. Just because I think it'll look cool sitting in one of these cases on the shelf. But this one got a 70 card, 70 blister, and 85 figure. This is the one without the coin. There's two different versions of this. One with a coin, that has a coin up here, and one without. From what I can tell, there's really no difference in value between the two. But this does have all the undercover turtles on it. Did one of these have scratch? Nope, no scratch on either of those. Because I think that was too early. I think that those were 93s. So those both are 93s. Those are not 89s. And this one was a 95. That was towards the end of the run there. But my pride and joy, last one I got graded, was Hotspot. And this one has the rail that comes all the way down. The sides are covered. But my favorite part about this is he put rails on the bottom to keep that bottom from kicking out. This is how I would want all of my turtles. If I have my choice, if I get any more graded, I'm going to ask him to do it just like this. Because this is what I want. This exact case. Like I said, there was some variations, and a lot of that was just time constraint, I'm assuming. And it could have been just the cards. They may not have needed it. He may have thought it was better without it. I don't know. I'm not the grader, but me personally, visually, I like this better. So this one's a 75. It's a 75 EX Plus. It was a 70 on the card, 80 on the blister, and an 85 on the figure. And this thing is gorgeous. He did a phenomenal job on this one, on all of them. But like I said, me personally, I like how the rail system is set up on this. I don't feel like this figure is going anywhere. I absolutely love this. And this one does have scratch on it. You don't have the undercover turtles, but it does have scratch. But very happy to get these graded. If I had one minor thing, and a lot of it's just my OCD, I wish, because when you're sitting there and you look at them on a shelf, I like consistency. And the only thing that I would ask is that the stickers all be in the same place, because some of them are on the left side, some of them are on the right side, some of them's on the front right, some of them's on the back left. So that's my only minor nitpick, and I won't, it's not like I'm pissed about it. AFA does the same thing from what I can tell, because I've looked at different figures and the stickers are always in different spots. But that's my only nitpicky thing. If I'm looking at them on a shelf, I want to see the consistency. But that's my OCD. I don't know typically how those work. Like I said, this is my first experience getting something graded, and it was a great experience. So if you guys have figures you want to get graded, go to APG. I'm about to run out of time. Go to APG, check them out, see what you think. I can tell you from my experience, I'm very happy with it. And I'm going to get more stuff graded there. And hopefully I'll be able to get some of my friends' stuff graded there. But like I said, at the end of the day, very happy with my experience. Check out APG. I don't know what else to say. Do your own homework. Do what you think you need to do. But for this guy being one of the new guys on the block, he's definitely on the right foot. Speaking of right foot, before I run out of time, I got 13 seconds. These are some stands that he made for some of my loose figures. So I got a Hot Spot, a Scratch, Michelangelo, Bebop, and Foot Soldier. So hopefully I'll be able to get the rest of them for the other turtles I need. But I'm about out of time, so I'll do another video and show you guys how these work. But there's what Hot Spots look like, so I can put my loose Hot Spots.